As you know, Joan Evans has stepped down from the committee. She and her husband George are going to be moving, and so she thought that was time to time to step down. And then Tom Brady called me today and said that they had some doctor's appointments, and so he didn't think he might be able to join us later, but he wasn't real sure. So I think we'll get started. I'll call the meeting to order. You should have gotten the minutes. Let's see them here somewhere. Right here. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, they'll stand approved as sent. If anybody would like to take the minutes for this meeting, please volunteer. If not, I can always, I think that you know, we have a video. We're recording this meeting right now, so in my mind, we have a record of the meeting. And so it, in lieu of minutes, why I can always send out the connection to the video. The agenda is right here. And so we have with Joan stepping down, we have the opportunity to actually ask everybody whether or not you want to continue on the committee. I really think it's something we should do on a yearly basis, is see if everybody wants to stay. I appreciate all your attendance and your work on the committee, and I think it's the best committee in the association. And you can, if you'd like, you can you know, step away. And so if you'd like to do that, please let me know, and we would be we would thank you very much for your time and your work. And I think it's probably something that we should be asking for new members, and see if there are people out there that might want to be on this committee. I just talked to John Haggerty, and he mentioned that he interviewed a new owner within the last couple of days, and that they were an IT person. And so he said they would perhaps be interested in joining the committee. So if you folks know of anybody else that you think might be interested, please let me know. I can invite them, or you can invite them to attend one of our meetings. The next item would be searching the website update. I asked John if the lawyer's office had digital copies of our documents, of the association documents, and he said they do not have digital copies. But the good news is they are willing to change them to digital copies. They're willing to do a character recognition on all the documents, and so I said that's great. So they are going to be working on that. They said he said it may take a few weeks, which is very understandable, but we should have sometime in the near future digital copies. And that would allow us to put those documents on the website and have them be searchable. And what we would do differently than what we have now is, instead of having them in a file, and you go to a place on the website where you would open that file, they would be on a whole page, on a page. The page, would be maybe several number of pages long, but they would open up, when you would open that, it would actually be on a document, and it should work. Excuse me. Hello? Yeah. Yeah. We could try to answer the questions, or if you'd like. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
It's echo in Oakview, and I appreciate to listen to the cell phone, but this last, the echo was awful, and we only got a word, and then about an hour when the sound cut. So that's my key one.
So you were on a Zoom conversation by phone, is that right?
Telephone.
And this is what was that the January meeting?
Yes.
And you had a lot of echo on your phone.
From everybody. John Hagg.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what we can do about that. For the most part, was there any possibility that you had more than one person on the phone? You had maybe two phones going?
In my place?
Yes. John, I think we want to maybe, for some reason, I'm not getting anything here. How about if you take this woman's name and I contact her?
Fine, that'll work.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. I have had that happen where we've had a husband and wife or two people in the same unit that both connected, and they had lots of echo issues. So I'm not sure what's going on here, because generally one phone line shouldn't have that issue. But it's anything's possible, I guess.
Would it have caused an echo because we were in that big room at the church?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Because you had your external microphone, right?
Yeah. One of the things that happened when we tested it, and actually I think this is the next issue on our agenda, was that I was hoping that we could I could start a meeting and then also join with my phone, and then I could use the phone to go around the room and show who was talking. But that didn't work. George called in, and we found that that the echo and there was just too much echo issues, and so you couldn't have another phone on. I was hoping we could have a number of board members that might be able to log into the Zoom at the meeting, but that just didn't look like it was going to work.
Even if the sound was muted?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it didn't seem to matter.
Well, I Zoomed for the meeting, and I agree that John Haggerty was crystal clear. And I could understand everyone else, but they didn't come in loud and clear like John Haggerty did. Now, I don't know if it was proximity to a mic or I have no idea why that would be.
It was proximity to my computer.
Okay,
He was sitting next to me.
okay.
And so that made a big difference. I think in general, you could probably hear Sue okay.
I could hear the whole meeting okay, but I'm saying that John was crystal clear, loud and clear, and everyone else was different.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was doable, but there was a difference.
Well, I know Bob Hudick, an owner here in Lakeside, said that he could not hear a number of people. Yeah, go ahead, Lynn.
I just looked at about 5 minutes of the video. And on the video recording, I could not understand most of the people in the room.
Uh-huh.
Now, I don't know, did we do the normal mic placement or is it?
We had
Actually,
a problem.
the microphones didn't work. So hopefully that will be solved the next time, right, Roger?
Yeah, Jeff and I are working on that. We did get 2 of the microphones working. We have to figure out why the other 2 didn't work.
Yeah.
We didn't get them working. We couldn't get them going before the meeting. We worked on them a little bit after the meeting, got 2 of them to come online. So he and I are going to work on them before the next meeting.
Good. Yeah, I think that would make a big difference.
Yeah, yeah.
I mentioned to Barbara that she was hard to hear, and part of that's her voice, and some people have a voice that's easier than others, but I'm thinking a microphone will be a big advantage.
Yeah.
And we have to train our members to hold the microphone close to their mouth. We've had that issue in the past. Other than that, I think we were able to project the Zoom participants onto a screen, but I'm not sure that many of the board members could see that screen. Is that right?
Yeah, the screen was facing the audience,
Right.
so we could not see the screen.
I don't know. Could you see it, Barbara?
Well, yes, but don't forget, I was on the end.
Right.
So
So I don't know where a good place to put the screen is. It has to be fairly close to my computer.
couldn't you just angle it though towards the board? I think that would be the only issue.
Yeah, and the question was, do we want to angle it towards the board or towards the audience? So yeah, I could have done it more towards the board, and so that might be more appropriate.
Did the people who were in attendance at the church, the audience,
Right.
what did they see on the screen?
They could see and they could hear people who were participating with Zoom. Right, you could all hear the people on Zoom, right?
But the people who were participating on Zoom couldn't see
Right,
anything except what was on the Zoom screen.
exactly. And that is something I've got to work on. What we need to do there is have to set up the camera. We have to take our video camera, put it somewhere, and probably ask somebody to run it so that they can move it between speakers. And that has to be connected to my computer. And I have some software that I haven't really tested yet that I need on the computer to make that work. I had to buy a special cable, as a matter of fact, to run from the camera to the computer. I don't know if you realize it, but there are 3 different kinds of HDMI cables, all with a slightly different end on them. And I bought one that I thought was a mini cable, and I got it, and it didn't work because I needed a micro cable. So I do have the right cable now, and I just have to try it with this software to see exactly how, when I'm in a Zoom meeting, I can basically have the camera in as one of the participants, really, as in the Zoom meeting. So I haven't quite tried that yet. I need to do that. So that way people could see on Zoom who's speaking.
Chris, you're doing a wonderful job. And over time, it's going to get better. It's been getting better. And all these things will work themselves out. And I appreciate it. And I think the whole association appreciates it. And I'm sure there'll be a lot more Zoom participation once we get these sound issues and the visual. If there's good sound and visual on a Zoom, you're going to have a lot of Zoom people because everybody Zooms today. And you'll get a lot of people that are a lot from out of town. You did get a lot from out of town, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did. And I appreciate it. Thank you, George.
Yeah, no, you're doing wonderful. Thank you.
It's something that one of the things that we need to do, and we'll probably test it out here in the next month or so, is there's no reason that we can't have other people host a Zoom meeting. It's just simply a matter of logging in to our account. It's a Wildewood account. It has a Wildewood login and password, and it should be possible for any committee chair or John or Sue or anybody else should be able to log in as the host. And then they should be able to schedule a meeting. And I mean, I can schedule the meeting, but I'm not sure I want to continue to host every meeting.
Right.
Chris, can I suggest that we write a script for those people? That it
Sure.
sounds like a daunting thing,
Yeah.
host a meeting, if you haven't. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's
And I think that as easy as we can make it for people and then sort of just, push them in the water.
Yeah.
And let them figure it out. Because, I mean, you can do, whatever you call it, test meetings.
right.
So people can practice.
Right.
But anyway, we've talked about this before, and I think that the best way to do it might be for us to provide a script. And I mean, if you want to start it and send it around, we can get.
Yeah, it's really pretty straightforward. Once somebody logs in, then scheduling a meeting and starting a meeting is really fairly easy thing to do. But it would certainly help if we put some steps involved. I know John, I was hoping John was going to start a meeting back in the fall, and when I was traveling, and for whatever reason it didn't work. So it should work. Other than that, I think it'll be something that it seems to me that we want to continue to offer Zoom for many meetings. And it it allows somebody like Jane, who is I was going to ask you, Jane, do you have plans on you and Rob coming down?
Well, Rob's in long-term care now, so that's part of my stumbling block
Sure.
is, going off and leaving him for an extended period of time. Although
Right.
he's certainly well cared for. There's nothing like being there myself.
Oh, right, sure. Well, I just happened to be walking the dog one afternoon and I saw Eddie cleaning out your courtyard. So
Yeah.
I thought that was a good sign.
He's been under contract with me for a long time now. He does it on his own schedule and just lets me know.
Oh, good. Barb, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just want to say that you do a phenomenal job, Chris, attending every meeting to provide the Zoom services. I'm just shocked that you're able to do all that, but, and I agree, like, you should definitely have a tech backup as well as training with the script committee leads to be able to run their own meeting, but still have like somebody technically savvy as you are as a backup or on call or whatever you want to, call it. Like Tammy doesn't run any Zoom meetings. She floats around to each of the pools. So, I only went to one of her meetings ever because it was here in pool 6. That's my 2 cents.
Well, and I think there was a security meeting a week or so ago that was only held in the office. So I guess that's up to committee chairman. But I think we should certainly encourage the chairs to offer Zoom. It's a little more complicated with the live meeting and a Zoom meeting. But I think we can, again, as George said, work some of the bugs out and be able to make that work. And certainly we want to, go ahead, George.
I don't think the Zoom should ever go away. Even if there was no pandemic, they could have in person all they want, but I think the Zoom should be a part of it because everyone can attend a meeting. Doesn't matter where they are or what condition they're in. I mean, if you're just not feeling well, but you want to attend, you can. That's what Zoom is all about. People go to work on Zoom now. I mean,
And you're not contagious if you go on Zoom.
I don't care. I'm saying forget the contagion. Let's say there was no pandemic at all. This is a good step in the right direction as far as having meetings and being all inclusive. Even if people sat in each other's laps, they could do what they want. The point is, we have this technology, and it services a lot of people. It gives everybody an opportunity to participate in these meetings all the time.
Yeah, it's certainly preferable, I think, to the phone conference system that we used before.
Right.
Chris, I'd just like to get clear about what the ideal product would be like for both audiences. What would people on Zoom see once you get this big master plan worked out? And what would people in the audience see? Or at the meeting?
Yeah, the people at the meeting would see the same screen you're seeing here. I can project this screen that we're seeing onto a screen through a projector. So that everybody that's in the live meeting can see exactly what you're looking at right here. And then the people on Zoom, the ideal situation would be for them to be to have a camera set up that would move around to the people in the room. It'll give you an overall view of the room, but then it would be able to sort of zoom in, or wrong term, to focus on individual speakers in the meeting. And so the people on Zoom would be able to see not only hear who's talking, but see who's talking. So that would be the best scenario.
Now,
I think it certainly will be somewhat easier to do that in a smaller meeting in the office. A little harder to do with sound, and because again, in a bigger setting like the church, we would need microphones. I think in the office, I'm not sure we would need anything other than the microphone on this computer would be able to hear everybody in the room. But we'd have to try that.
if you had all these pieces in place
Right.
to do a meeting at the church, I'm just concerned about the overwhelming task. I mean, this sounds like to me like hours and hours of setup and tear down. What do you need that you don't have now? Because it seems to me we ought to be able to get other people to assist you.
Well, I think the camera issue would be the one right now that the projector issue is pretty easy. I actually I made a faux pas when we had the meeting in January there earlier. I got there 40 minutes early, and the door's locked, and I had seen Jeff pulling out just before I parked, and I think Jeff had the key. And, I don't know whether he was supposed to meet me there or what, but he leaves. I guess I called the office and they said, "Oh, Jeff's on his way over." And then it occurred to me that I didn't bring the password for the church's Wi-Fi. And I thought, well, sometimes when you already hooked into some Wi-Fi, your
Right.
computer remembers that password, but I wasn't sure that was going to happen. So I start home to get the password that I forgot. And then I think Jeff showed up, and they called me before I even got home, and they said, "Oh, they have the password." So I rushed back, but I didn't get there until probably 15 minutes before the meeting started. And it doesn't take long to set up the projector. I mean, that's a pretty simple process. And so that didn't take long. But getting everything else, the camera and everything else to work may take some time. And then again, I think we need a second person to run the camera. One person to sort of be on the Zoom, and because you have to let people in, and the other person to run the camera. So probably going to be a two-person deal.
I think you definitely need someone to run the camera, particularly if you're going to focus in on a speaker
Exactly.
and have the camera being moved around. I mean, we could
Right.
set the camera up out in the audience with the wide angle lens on it, and everybody could see everybody at the table, but you wouldn't necessarily be able to focus very clearly on any one individual.
Right.
And with the Zoom feature, and it sounds funny to say it, but with the Zoom feature on the camera, it does let you get a little closer to that person.
Right.
Could
Roger
we have,
has run the camera, so you know how it works.
could we have a fixed position for the camera on a podium where people that speak step up to the microphone and the camera?
Yeah.
That might be a solution.
I-
Anyone that
think-
wants to speak can stand in line and step up to the podium and speak.
I think particularly with the audience.
Right.
If somebody from the audience wants to speak, then that's kind of typical, I think, at some of the local meetings that you have to step up to a podium.
Right.
And again, one of the advantages of that would be that there would be a microphone there.
Right, so you don't take the camera to the audience comes to the camera.
Yeah, that's a good
Right.
idea, George. Go ahead, Barbara.
Isn't that how it used to work at board meetings? Where there was a stationary microphone and
It
people
did
used to
for
come-
a couple of meetings. It was not sort of a standard practice. But I know
Oh.
we had some meetings where that was the case. We asked people to sort of at least stand up, but often we pass the microphone to them.
Oh, because I'm
Chris,
thinking years ago, I'm here 5
Oh.
years full-time now, but before that, if I happened to be in town where there was a meeting, I would go. And I just remember people going up to a microphone to speak.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think you're right. So we can certainly make that suggestion to the board.
Well,
Okay,
then you wouldn't have to- you wouldn't
go
have to
ahead,
zoom
George.
in- But then you wouldn't have to zoom in on anybody. You just have a fixed camera at where the person is going to speak.
Right. Well, I think you would still want to, do it with the board members. And so I think you'd want to have somebody at the camera to,
Well, the board members are on the Zoom anyway, right?
No,
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
no,
Yeah,
no.
right.
When they
That's just
speak, you
affected.
gotta
Right,
move the
Right.
camera to who's
Right.
speaking.
Right.
But I think that's a good suggestion.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, Catherine.
What?
Hi,
Um,
Kathy.
Okay, new photos is our next item. I have added another album to the to our photo albums. We have several bird albums. One large one. One I sort of took the best ones from the large one and added them. And then just in the last week, I was cherry picking Wildwood Wonders, Susan Michael Barrett's blog website, and she just has more great pictures of birds. And so I picked out about 45 new photos, and might have been a couple that have been on before, but I think almost all of them are new. And I created an album, and I emailed her. I asked her if it's okay with her, and she graciously emailed back and said she's very happy to share, and appreciates us distributing some of her photographs. So go ahead, Barbara.
So if you remember from the meeting, I'm sort of in the process of wanting to kick up the newsletter again, the Wild
Right.
Times. So if I wanted to include, the bird picture of the month or something, or the season, there wouldn't be a problem with me taking it off the website to put in the newsletter?
Not at all. We have gotten from Susan permission. She gave us permission. There was another woman that I have attributed photos to in the large album that had put photos on her website, and she
Okay.
usually acknowledges that, and so I've also acknowledged that. I think it's appropriate if we use any that are attributed, that we should put their name on it if you use it.
Okay. And that information is available on the website?
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
picture? Okay.
If you look at the descriptions of the photos, I usually have it attributed. And so
Wonderful.
we have a couple of ones from, I'm pretty sure we have some from Barb Ramsey, John West's sister-in-law. And So I think, not Barb, it's Beth Ramsey. And I think Barb West may have taken a few as well. But we've got a few other people. I think we want to keep encouraging people to take photos and submit them. We'll put them in the album. But these are really some fine photos if you want to take a look at those. I guess a question that I have is, are there, I think I put something in the announcements about, we're looking for photos again. And we talked, I think it was mentioned in the minutes of last meeting that we need to sort of reevaluate our photos that are on the website, and that if we have some, we could use some new ones. And so I put that in an announcement that's currently on the website, and hopefully some people might be willing to submit some photos. By the way, Jane, before I forget it, I did include you as an editor on the album, the new album, as far as comments go. So I put
Okay.
both, I put you and me both on there. So if I miss one, you'll have it. And all you have to do, I think all we do is approve it, don't we? I think we
Yeah.
checked it, make sure there's no nasty comments on it or something like that. Although we've never had anything like that.
No. But I do look at them and make sure that they're coming through the way the user had intended, that
Right.
we didn't get coding popping in, which sometimes happens.
Right.
I just go and clean that up and stuff. But
Yeah, there is a submit button for
Yeah.
people to put a photo on our in one of our albums. So one of the things that Joan did just recently, she did look at the sort of rolling photos that we have on the homepage, and some of the descriptions weren't correct. So she had me, she made some good suggestions about correcting those, and so I've done that. But again, those have been on since probably 2018, and we probably should take a look at some of those. Are probably time to reevaluate some of them. And then we have, I also suggested an underused area, and it's kind of surprising because on the old website, it was pretty popular, and that's the pet directory. We probably had 80 photos on the old website, and on the new one we have, gosh, 6 or 7. I mean, you can put more than one up, and I've gone overboard on photographs of my little Yorkie, but that's we just haven't had many people respond to that. And so I mentioned it in the same announcement that people might want to use the pet directory, put pictures of their pet, because we have a lot of pets. There's a lot of pets around, and people are all pretty proud of them. And so I'm hoping that people start to use that directory again, like they had in the past. And then I guess I looked at old albums that we had that were expired, and one of them was a fall festival, and one of them was, I think, maybe a carport party, which we haven't had much of lately. But what other ideas might we have for photos?
Hmm.
Well, there seems to be a tremendous usage right now of, it's probably the pickleball courts. Yesterday, when I tried to go to the recycle bin, there were cars parked on the street almost all the way out to the boulevard.
Yeah.
And so there's one lane traffic all the way in from the boulevard to the office and back out again. It was really a struggle, you know, getting in and out of there because there seems to be a tremendous number of people there. So we could probably put some pictures up of that activity.
Good idea. What, don't we only have 2 courts?
I think we have 4.
Oh, do we now?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
they got more nets so they can turn 2 of the tennis courts into 4 pickleball courts.
I see. Because I was kind of wondering why quite that many people were there.
Yeah, I think
If-
with the movable nets that they brought in, I think they can do 4 pickleball.
Well, there's no reason why we can't do that. And we'll see. I know Steve Abul is a player, and maybe he'll take some photos for us. We've never never taken. I would like probably sometime to take pictures of some of the Wildewood flora. We have a lot of very interesting plants, and particularly when some of them are in flower, but even when some of them are, I mean, just not in flower, there's some really pretty leaves and things like that. And so I think that's another album that we could do. Any volunteers?
Are you looking for a volunteer to send in the pictures or somebody?
Yeah,
to
yeah, to
the
take some
album?
photos of some of the flora, maybe in your neighborhood, or you
Yeah,
know, that you really.
I have some already. I've been doing it over the years.
Sure, sure. And I would certainly be happy to do some here in Lakeside. And so if other people want to do some in their neighborhood, well, please do. And we can sort of figure out what works best. And one of the things which is sometimes a little bit of a problem is identifying what the flora really is.
Oh, wait, that's a different story.
Yeah, I know. Have you ever seen Plant Snap? That's an app that is supposed to identify.
I have,
It doesn't always
something-
work.
I have picture this. Yeah, I have picture this, but it
Same
doesn't always
thing.
work.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
useless.
In fact, Plant Snap now you have to pay for it. Yeah, it does. If you want one that really works, you got to give them some money. But yeah, I think certainly that might be a nice album to have. Some of the things that are in the neighborhood. I would suggest that maybe we could do some of the animals in the neighborhood, but I mean, raccoons are raccoons, right? Possums. I don't know if anybody's gotten a picture of the coyotes. I had, it was last year, I had a great, and I didn't take pictures of it. I had a little family of armadillos that were in the
Aw.
neighborhood. And there were probably, I think there was a mother and 3 little ones. And they would scare my dog. They would kind of lunge at her. So if you think of some other ideas, we would certainly, I think, try to add some other albums. And then I guess one of the things which I'm wondering about is what can we do? What are some other ideas that we might use to increase some visits to our website. Go ahead, Barb.
So, again, because I'm trying to kick up the newsletter again, do we have right now an archive of old newsletters on the website?
Yep,
We do, okay.
yep. Pretty sure it should be under maybe community, either community or residents. I think it's community that we should have all the newsletters. Go ahead, Lynn.
It seems to me we had this conversation about the newsletters before when it was being done by Catherine, and it seemed to take a lot of her, it was a big resource drain. What would you want to have in the newsletter that wouldn't better be on the website? Or asking that the other way around, what would you like what should the website be doing that the newsletter, what function would that fill?
I just think it's, from what feedback I'm getting from people and from my own perspective, it's another form of media to find out what's going on in the community. And a lot of people I talk to, because I'm mostly talking to people in Woodlawn here, and I did talk to some people after the last meeting, board meeting, that they do use the website, but they don't really get a feel for what's going on in the community. Like what's hot and what's not in each committee, like with some of the major committees, building, grounds, landscaping, pools, something more at a, they can read right in front of them, and it gives them a synopsis of what's going on. Not taking away from the website. I use the website a lot, but I totally I would like a newsletter as well. There are very interesting articles over the years. If you're a walker, it's, what can you, how many miles can you get if you walk around Wildewood Springs, photo of the month. And I just think it's an adjunct to the website, because Chris would have a section as the IT guy, and he could talk about, hey, here's what the website offers that you can't possibly put in a newsletter, so they're intended to complement each other. I had one woman after the board meeting, she said, is it going to be available in the office? So I said, well, we could mail it PDF and whatnot. Well, her issue is she's going blind. So she really she can't use the computer. She wants to be able to see the piece of paper. So we'll put it everywhere on the website and whatnot. I don't see it. I'm looking on the website right now, Chris.
Let me see if I can find it. I'm gonna have to step away.
I mean, if you can just get back to me maybe later.
I will. I will
Okay.
definitely do that,
I don't wanna
because I
interrupt.
know we put them all on there. They go back to when Debbie was doing them, and then we also have the ones that Catherine did. And so I think in this case, Lynn, Barbara's volunteered to sort of head the effort, and so it wouldn't put a lot of extra burden on Maggie.
It probably wouldn't put any burden on Maggie, except maybe copying to have copies available at the office or something. Yeah. I mean, right now, Sue Downs just wants to, even though it's been brought up at the last two meetings, in terms of, I think once it was listed as a committee, and Debbie Dial said she doesn't want to do it anymore. So I said I would take it on. But Sue just wants to get the board's okay. Hey, we're going to do this again at the next meeting. So, I mean, we hope to get, I'm assuming that will all go okay. I mean, I can't see any board member saying, no, we don't want to do a newsletter. But we hope to get maybe our first issue out before the snowbirds leave, because we could put good information in there about, you know, closing up the condo. And yes, this information is going to, I'm sure it's available on the website, but again, it's intended to complement those that like different forms of social media. So,
And certainly not everybody visits the website. I just had a board member recently ask me to help them get on the website because I don't think they've ever been on. And
I have a few of those here too. Yeah.
Sure. So there's I saw the email that Sue sent out about some of the things that would be in the newsletter, and there was always a letter from the president and a manager's comments, and I did something for IT, usually landscaping usually would present something, and so there's lots of opportunities for presenting some things, and then if we think that they're really good, we'll find a way to put them on the website as well as having the newsletter on the website. But
and it's a good way for you to advertise that you want pictures of birds and things like that. So
we also have advertising, and so it was a way for advertisers to put something in the newsletter, and I think it was a good way for some of the people right around us to put their card in and let people know that they had services available. And we've tried to have that on the website, but it hasn't been real successful, has it, Jane?
No.
Yeah, we just haven't gotten a whole lot of people to do that, and so the newsletter may work better for people there. Yeah, Lynn, please.
Some time ago, I suggested that we have a section of the website that had blogs. The president's blog, the manager's blog, any board member who wanted to have one, any committee chair. And they could post things as frequently as they wanted to, their thoughts about something that was current. And that didn't go anywhere. But when I think of your point about they want to know what's going on in different committees or in different, projects that the board's doing, that would be a very, efficient and accessible way to do it for the, anybody could get it. They didn't have to have a piece of paper in the form of a newsletter to find that out. Now, what do other people on the committee think about starting that sort of thing?
Lynn, I think that the board's objection was that blogs open up too much opportunity for people to, excuse my French, bitch openly in the media, and they didn't want to open up that can of worms.
Well, I mean,
give
if
them the
you're
opportunity
a committee
to
chair,
talk back.
I'm sorry?
A blog gives somebody the opportunity to talk back.
Well, we don't need to have that format. I mean, we could just simply have it as like so-and-so's diary, or, however you want to call it. Maybe the word blog isn't the right word, but.
Yeah, I suggested that to
opportunity.
John, and John had the same feeling, Roger, that it's just a can of worms. And
I think the word blog.
Yeah, but that may be it, because you can certainly have what Lynn's suggesting is simply somebody giving some information out without a chance for anybody to respond to it.
Right, and that I could see.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the issue to some extent is simply getting people to do it on any sort of regular basis. And I think that certainly we could start or suggest that we start with something very brief. Just give us a quick update of what your committee's doing. Or what the managers, instead of the manager's report, just a little blurb of, things that are going on. Sometimes the manager's report doesn't tell us enough. And if you remember, Leslie used to do a sort of a commentary on the board meetings, and that was frowned upon too, I guess. But I thought something that should have been brought up at the meeting that wasn't, was that we had some employees with COVID, or that tested positive, and at least one of them who was out for, I'm not sure he's back yet. So I thought that should have been brought up.
Hmm.
I can certainly, we can certainly make a recommendation to the board and say that, this would be a way for people to give a little update on their area without an opportunity for people to respond. And that would keep it sort of on a level where you didn't have all kinds of acrimony going on.
Yeah, more of an informational update.
Yeah. Blog probably does bring the wrong connotation.
I won't use that word again.
But it's to me, I mean, I don't view a lot of blogs, and I don't know if all of them have comments or not. I suppose most of them do. Any other ideas? I'll give it some thought in the next month or so, and because I think that our usage of the website is staying fairly constant. We do get new people coming, new owners asking to register, and so that it does look like people want to see what's on the website. But I think one of the suggestions that Barbara suggested in a newsletter, I think I can also do that to some extent with email. In fact, I suggested to John that I create an email basically that he and or Sue would sign, asking for members of committee, new members of committees in general. I think this time of year is a good time for committees to ask for new membership, and so I was going to create an email that would go out. But I think I've been a little lax on other kinds of emails, because I think that one of the things that we have tried to do in the past, we can do again, and that is suggest that in an email that there are places on the website you may not realize are there, and we can put links in the email that would allow people to go right to that area, and just sort of highlight some of the things, like the photo albums, like the pet directory, like the information on recyclables, the newsletters, the old newsletters. There's just a lot of things on the website that I don't think a lot of people, are going to routinely look at. But if we sort of tweak them by reminding them that they're there, we may have some people that go see them. And
I
so,
found them
oh, good, good. Where were they?
under office.
Oh,
Who knew? And there's
yeah,
four.
not where I would have thought I put them.
There's just 4 posted there.
Oh, well, I can go back and take a look. I'm sure I might have more than that on my computer.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm guessing this is the ones that are from this version of the website. Since this version, those are probably ones that have been created since then.
Yeah.
I know we went for a while without a newsletter before Catherine sort of picked it up again.
Yeah.
Okay. The next meeting would be February 25th. Same time, same place, same Zoom. And I don't know. I actually was a little bit surprised because I don't always take a close look at what's on the bulletin boards. That it said that the meeting would be in the office and Zoom. And I put out something in the announcements that said it was only Zoom. So we have to kind of get that straightened out. I guess I would prefer, at least until we see the Omicron slow down more than it has in Florida, that we just do Zoom only for a while yet, or at least probably another month. And then eventually I could see us doing both. All right, is there a, yes, go ahead, Lynn.
I want to circle back to the documents. We sort of got off
Okay.
that with the phone
Sure.
ring.
Sure.
First of all, I can hardly believe that a lawyer wouldn't have a digital copy. I mean, if my lawyer told me that, I'd fire her. I'm serious. I wouldn't deal with it.
No, I was surprised too.
Unless they imagine that the county clerk's office is their file cabinet. I just don't get it. But anyway, I would like to see 3 or 4 pages before I ask them to do hundreds and
All of
hundreds of
them.
pages.
Yeah.
I just don't trust the person that's doing it, knowing, and just, I mean, to start with, having an OCD copy is going to be automatically not a great option if we could do it, straight from the digital. But before we get deep into that, I would like them to send a digital copy of the PDF that they make, 4 or 5 pages of each document, or 2 or 3 is plenty. I mean,
I agree. It's not an easy process, and it is something that we certainly want to check carefully. I'm reminded of the issue we had with flood insurance. We got a lawyer that rewrote it wrong, and so we certainly don't want to have the documents not show exactly what the original document shows. I sort of think that these documents have been scanned a number of times, and that when we hired this lawyer versus, I think we had a different lawyer at 2010, 2011, the one that made the mistake with the flood insurance, that we might have provided them with exactly the documents that we see on the website, which are the documents which are handed to new board members, and they're scanned documents. They're printed, but they've been scanned. I mean, they're not a digital copy. And so I'm guessing that's what we gave the lawyer's office.
And
I
probably
don't-
the only thing that they do have electronic copies of are any amendments that have been done, but they have not, nobody's taken the time to retype that entire book of documents from who knows when.
Right. And again, I'd almost wonder whether or not retyping them might be better than OCRing them.
I'm not sure we could even, legally do that, as putting stuff on the website or giving it to people that we would say, that represents the documents. It's,
If we had the lawyer's office do it.
oh,
I'm not so sure because they go back to the original filed document from the 70s, and that's still what they're working off of, which was a paper document,
yeah.
probably done with a typewriter.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's worth asking them that question though. Because again, I think that if they could legally retype the document rather than OCR it, I think it would be probably a safer way to do it.
If they're gonna put their stamp on it, shouldn't it be their decision?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I would suggest that John ask them if that might be a possibility. And maybe, I don't know this for sure, but it may be that they offered to OCR it because they didn't want to retype it. I don't know. So, but I think it's worth asking the lawyer's office. And if they do it, you would think it would be legal.
Mhm. Yeah.
One could assume that, I guess.
Mhm. We know what assuming does.
Yes. Well, I will discuss it with John.
Okay, just one more thing.
Sure.
When you send out the call for new committee members, don't forget to emphasize that it's perfectly possible for seasonal residents to participate since many of the meetings are run via Zoom.
Right. No, I think that's a good point.
I think there's a lot of people a lot of seasonal people who sit in the back of their condo and say, well, I can't be a member because I'm not here,
Right.
8 months of the year. When in fact, they can be participating members. Myself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's worth emphasizing because I think in the past, we've had people that have been reluctant to run for the board or serve on committees because they were part-time.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lynn.
Can I just ask the question out? Of the 6 people here, who would prefer to meet on Zoom only?
Yeah.
George.
Right now,
I
me.
thought you were, no?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Jane, you would, of course.
Well, I don't mind meeting in person if I'm there, but I'm not there.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
We would have to exclude you, yeah, if you weren't
but
here. Yeah,
I'm perfectly happy to meet Zoom wise.
okay.
Reduces the carbon footprint as well, because we would have 6 people getting in their cars. I'm not
Yeah.
on the committee, but
Yeah.
if I wanted to attend the committee, to go drive to get to be able to attend. So I think Zoom is just a more environmentally preferable thing. I mean,
And I think with the ability to share the documents on the screen, and also I don't know if you realize this, but you guys can share documents too. There's a,
Right,
there's a
right.
share screen on each one of your Zooms, the menu area. And I think one of the things that we probably don't use as much as we should is that we can show reactions, we can raise our hands, especially in a bigger meeting. When we had the meeting in January at the church, I had a few people that used both the chat area and the raise your hand. The only problem with that is that whoever's managing the meeting or whoever's the chair, they don't always see that hand go up. And so there's Barbara with her mask on, and so I think that there are some things about Zoom that we could do even better. And one of the things that we suggested, and I didn't do it recently, but I have in the past gone in and changed people's names so that we could identify them. I think I did do it with one or two people that were in the meeting on Monday, in January here, that I put their name on it so we could remember, we could see who they were. And so that's easy. I can do that as host, but you folks can always do that yourselves.
I think Zoom meetings are more, actually more productive, and the fact that they're recorded, if you felt you missed anything or you wanted to hear it again, it's simple enough to go back and see exactly what was going on.
Yeah, I think that's a plus.
We never had
I
that
really do.
capability before the Zoom. You know, if you missed something, you know, or couldn't hear, you know, I just think that Zoom is a lot more efficient than in person.
Well, I think you're right, and I think it's here to stay. So I think we want to just keep improving how we do it, and encourage other people in our community to use it as well. Okay,
Thanks again, Chris. Thanks again.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
All right, second.
Second.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you
Thanks,
next month.
Chris.
Good to see
Thank
everybody.
you.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.